Hey, what's going on, boys? This too. So here's another. I almost forgot what I was gonna say. I was about to say Dolphins log because I'm thinking of recording my Arknights Dolphins log and my Ether Gazer one right after this. So I got a little bit mentally mixed up there. When does that not happen? Also, the game seems kind of loud on my end. Maybe if I lower the volume. Yeah. Hopefully the game is not overpowering me in the recording, but here we go anyways. Should be fine. But yeah, here's the Wales log for Star Rail for the month of November 2023. Let's get into it. God, did I even talk about Topaz last month? I'm going to assume that I did, considering how late I did the Wales logs for last month. But in case I did not for some reason, let's go over her real quick. Her and Guinaifen, yeah, those are our two newest characters. So yeah, here's Topaz, 3400 HP, 34, almost 2400 attack, 141, which is very fast, and 75 CR with 167 CD. Very nice stats, actually, considering I didn't spend that long grinding artifacts for her. Unfortunately, to be fair, we do have our next new follow-up set, follow-up artifact set, I believe, that I should probably farm for. Part of me doesn't want to do that yet, just because of how good Topaz's artifacts turn out to be. That, and I'd like to commit to, I'd like to commit some of my, what are they called again? The resin stuff. Yeah, fuel. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's called fuel in this game. For Himiko, who I actually got recently when I was going for Topaz. So, yeah. I'm saving my resin for her to grind out follow-up set artifacts. Because you can see my Himiko's gear is not great. So, yeah. Hopefully it'll give me a chance to give her some better stuff. But for now, my Topaz, I'll explain, we'll go over this in more detail in just a little bit, but for now, the 4-piece set seems to be doing pretty well. At least so far, anyway. Obviously, it's not the most ideal, considering increases wearer's skill damage by 12% after unleashing ultimate. Actually, it still makes sense on her. Yeah, it still actually makes sense. The issue, the weakest part of 4-piece fire set is the fact that it also increases skill damage, and while that's obviously useful, I found with playing with Topaz that Topaz actually doesn't need to use her skill all that much, because yeah, the biggest perk of her skill, the point of her skill is for you to be able to switch who you're putting the proof of debt debuff on, which is the debuff that Topaz's kit kind of revolves around, where whoever hits it with the follow-up attack, either from Topaz herself or from her teammates, they get extra follow-up damage. So yeah. While his skill is good, that's its main point. It's not necessarily to do like the main point of it isn't to do like damage or anything like that. So yeah, I found myself using Topaz's basic attack a lot more. So yeah, it's like the weakest part about it. It's still relevant though. So yeah, 4-piece fire is not the worst thing on her, though eventually the plan is to transition her to the follow-up set as well. It's just she doesn't need that as urgently as, like, say, my Himiko does. But in any case, going into a little bit more detail, obviously she herself is level 80 with a level 80 light cone, her own of course, completely maxed out. I will give her I will give her, what do they call in this game? Tracks of Destiny? Yeah, these things. Later when I actually can afford them, because obviously as you can see here, I'm saving these for our newer characters, but more on that later. And so yeah, she's still waiting on Tracks of Destiny, but otherwise she's basically maxed out. And again, these are her relics, 4-piece fire, along with the 2-piece inert Sal Soto. Unfortunately, inert Sal Soto is not the most optimal, considering obviously Topaz's ult doesn't actually do any damage itself. But considering this is the only ornament set that actually supports follow-up attacks, this is what we're using for now. That and the extra crit rate is never bad either. So at least we can use that. Individually, these are her artifacts. Double crit. This one rolled very well. These are speed boots. This one rolled extremely well, considering this is a four line, or not 4-line start, but 4 roll into crit damage. Excellent speed boots. Couldn't ask for any better. Legit might be my best speed boots on my entire account, to be honest. Again, double crit. Weaker rolls, but still double crit, and rolled mostly into the actual good stats. I think this one rolled once into minimum min roll, or it min rolled once into flat HP. I think that's what happened. But in any case, could have been better, but acceptable still. And then crit damage body with crit rate. What is it? As a substat, only 1 roll into crit rate though, unfortunately. But yeah, it is what it is. So. And then rope is just an attack percent one. Like, this one is this is probably her weakest artifact, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe I'll take some time to like grind out some inert soda pieces at some point. But it's what she's got to work with. Maybe that 21% defense will actually help her somehow. Highly doubt it though. And then of course, fire damage boost, planar. Again, substats aren't the best because, as Tectone said in one of his recent tweets the other week, yeah, farming for ornaments is fucking bullshit in this game. So, in any case, but yeah, that's what she's got to work with. Obviously, she's only E0 because of my broke ass, because my broke ass can't afford anything more. There's our daily reset. I like this idle animation where Topaz just casually speaks 4 different languages. I guess as an IPC representative or an IPC corpo, I guess it just comes with the job, huh? In any case, I also like how she speaks the 4 languages that Star Rail is dubbed in, so that's cool. Anyways, this is my Topaz. I didn't make a video like a quick impressions video like I did for Jing Liu, I think, back when Jing Liu first released, but. Again, I get this feeling I already talked about this in my previous Wales log. But again, in case I didn't, I'm not remembering properly. I'll go over Topaz real quick again. I think Topaz is very good. She's obviously not a fucking DHIL or anything like that, or anyone like that. So like, I think at one point on stream, one of my subs tossed me a link to this screenshot of a Star Rail redditor who was like, "Oh yeah, I pulled and rolled for Topaz and gave a really good gear, and I don't feel like she does anything for my account." So I was just like facepalm the entire way through, and basically asking myself, then why the fuck did you roll for her then? Right? It's like, this is Star Rail we're talking about. Star Rail or Genshin doesn't really matter, because both games we have people who freaking leak everything. So, and I would argue that unlike Genshin, Star Rail leaks they tend to be more accurate. One, because Star Rail has a smaller player base, and so you're not gonna have as many people. You're not gonna have as many fucktards running around on the internet, spreading like fake news or like misinformation about leaks. Just for the sake of attention. And Star Rail is a turn-based game, and in turn-based games it's a lot easier to process information just through raw numbers, whereas a lot of people do that for Genshin, and while most of it is accurate, a lot of the time, because Genshin is a real-time action combat game, there are some details that characters can have that can kind of slip through the cracks that you just aren't going to see on paper, right? Even if you see the animations for them, there might be something about the characters that you won't know until you actually play them, and then you understand and learn the nuances of how some characters play in Genshin. Whereas in Star Rail, animation is just fluff, right? Turn-based game, so it's a lot easier to work with numbers and get a much clearer picture of what a character can do. So, because of those 2 reasons, you can generally expect Star Rail leaks to be fairly accurate, and so because of that, and because, we're all about leaks around here, like, buddy, I don't think it was a surprise to anybody when Topaz came out that she wasn't exactly going to be a frickin' Danheng altar, or a Daniel altar, as I like to call him. So, sucks to be that guy. Me, on the other hand, I am a Topaz enjoyer. So I'm proud of my Topaz, and I really like how she plays. She's honestly the most unique character we've had since, I don't know, actually, probably maybe actually DHIL, because of his ability to use multiple skill points in one go, probably. So yeah, but even besides that, she's quite unique. Her playstyle is way different than any other DPS that I've played, and it's been quite fun, honestly. So yeah, that and anything, the fact that I can legitimately run Topaz and Himiko together is like, oh my god. So, and it's lore friendly too. I think. I think these two know each other in game, or in the game's lore, I should say. I mean, they do meet up, I think, in the Ethereum Wars event, I think, right? Actually, no, I think they talked to each other during her cutscene, her story cutscene before Ethereum Wars takes place, I think. So, yeah, both lore friendly and meta friendly. Well, meta in quotes. But anyways, yeah, so that's Topaz. Her idle animations seem to play very frequently for what it's worth. It's cute though, so I can let it slide. Anyways, I did roll Himiko while I was going for Topaz. Unfortunately, my Himiko was not as blessed as my Topaz was, mainly because I was farming and leveling relics for Topaz and not necessarily for Himiko, because I didn't, I obviously couldn't plan to roll for Himiko considering she's a permanent character. But now she's here, which officially means, and I'm proud to show this off, officially it means that I officially have, take a shot every time I say the word officially, I now have every single character in the game. It only took me 6 or 7 months, but we made it. We here. But yeah, here's my Himiko. Got her leveled up as soon as I could, and this is what she's working with right now. Only 7-1. Well, actually, 7-1 crit rate is actually pretty good. But her crit damage being only at 90, not so good. Honestly, this reminds me of a lot of my old, like, early game Welt builds, where my Welt only had, like, actually, my first Welt build ever, Mr. Welt over here, my first Welt build ever, he only had, like, barely 60 crit rate and no crit damage whatsoever, because it was a bitch and a half trying to roll for, or trying to farm for imaginary pieces for him. God, that was horrendous. At least he's doing a little bit better now, but obviously he could still do a little bit better. Thankfully, him running S5, Good Night and Sleep Well, tremendously helps with this damage. So honestly, this light cone alone probably more than makes up for the fact that his crit stats aren't the best. But yeah, praying that I can farm some better imaginary pieces for him in the future. So, but in any case, yeah, my Himiko's stats unfortunately are not very good. Thankfully, we will have, with the next upcoming 1.5 patch, we should have the follow-up set for relics coming up. And so, yeah, I plan to grind those out, specifically for my Himiko, first and foremost, and then to whoever else needs it afterwards, or whoever I feel like needs it afterwards. I did have a copy of her light cone, Night on the Milky Way. I actually rolled the spare copy not too long ago. I forget exactly when. Maybe when I was running for Jingliu? No, I think I rolled the second copy on the banner before Jingliu. Whoever it was before Jingliu. I forget who. Was it Fushun? I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah. I actually had this copy that my Himiko has. I actually rolled at the very beginning of the game when I was doing my 300 rolls on Stellar Warp banner, and so I've had that on my servo, but I haven't really used servo in a very long time. So I was like, oh, I'll just take some servo and give it to Himiko now that I have her. So yeah, didn't have to level it up too much further because I think it was already at level 50 when I got Himiko, so I just got it to 80 real quick. Traces, you know the drill. Actually, surprisingly, I must have forgotten to level these. This is kind of awkward seeing these two just kind of hanging out here. So yeah, I guess I will grind some keys of wisdom for her and make sure that these two are unlocked. But yeah, I'll probably get that done with this current reset. Besides those, though, everything else is unlocked. So I'll probably take today and tomorrow, if need be, to unlock these two. So yeah. Completely forgot that to unlock those, I guess. So yeah, she's my first copy, so obviously she's only E0. And she's also on 4-piece fire and with 2-piece inert cell Soto, just like my Topaz. Unfortunately, these did not roll anywhere near as well as Topaz's. I did have a couple of extra double crit, like goggle, like headpieces and gloves for my Himiko, but they all rolled like trash. Literally no rolls into crit rate or crit damage, so... Like, literally, I only gave her this one because it's like, well, what the fuck else am I going to give her? I could maybe try my luck and see if there's like a crit damage one here and see if I get lucky, and it rolls like a ton into like crit damage or something. That'd be nice. Maybe I can even give her this or something. I don't know. Who knows? But, yeah. Maybe I'll do that just because this is so fucking terrible. At least the speed boots aren't bad. Honestly, her speed boots are probably the best piece she's got. With the double crit, lots of crit rate, a little bit of crit damage. Ring is actually not too bad either. Yeah. Very similar in terms of roll, like, distribution to her boots, actually. So her ring is actually not too bad. Technically, her body piece isn't too bad either, yeah. It only rolled once into flat defense. I don't mind the attack. I got a little bit of crit damage, too. So, yeah, honestly, her body piece isn't too bad. It's just her... goggles and I assume her inert cell Soto pieces, because yeah, by the time I was gearing out my Himiko, I was completely running out of like inert cell Soto pieces, in case you couldn't tell with my Topaz. So yeah, not very good, trash even. Same thing with this one, no crit stats whatsoever, so gotta work with what you got, I guess. So yeah, hoping to get her some better pieces later. We'll get into it. I'll get into it hardcore or a lot more in depth once we get 1.5. When we get the follow-up pieces, or the follow-up sets rather. Okay, so those are the 2 new characters that I got. Oh, same thing with Guinaifen. 3 new fire characters all in one patch. But yeah, here's also the 4-star that came along with Topaz. So a little bit less than 3,000 HP. About a little less than 28,000 or 2,800 attack. 28,000, yeah, imagine. 131 speed, 131 speed. Low crit stats because obviously she's DOT DPS .DPS. Daughter, not daughter as in the kid, but DOT-TER. Makes no sense, but you know, we'll roll with it. I decided to give her S5 Eyes of the Prey. Mainly because of the EHR, so that way she should be putting Fire Kiss and Burn DOTs on people all the time, almost all the time. I've seen some bosses resist like once or twice, but most of the time, her Burn DOTs do in fact go through, thanks to this. And increased DOT damage 48%, perfect on her. I will say, if I get another copy of Goodnight and Sleepwell, I will transition her to S3 Goodnight and Sleepwell instead, and so that way, and I'll try to see if I can get more copies of Goodnight and Sleepwell, so I can run Guinaifen with S5 Goodnight, just like my Sampo and my Welt up here. So yeah, but for now she's using Eyes of the Prey. And here's a trace tree. Obviously she's maxed out, and then the last she's at level 11 because yeah. I gotta use a track of destiny on her. I don't want to do that just yet. And so yeah, these are her relics. Rolled once into crit damage, which is not great for Guinaifen. I'm actually kind of curious as how well she would perform as a standard crit DPS. Because I know some people run Kafka as a crit DPS. Wouldn't recommend it, but you know, if you want to do that, go around on ahead. But yeah, in any case, a little bit of EHR, a few rolls into attack percent, which is what I was looking for. Ring, same here, a little bit of attack percent. Lots into break effect, so which is not bad on Guinaifen considering, you know, she's got that blast or the splash damage range, if you can even call it range. Kind of weird to call it that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like a triple or quad roll. Probably, yeah, quad roll into break effect. So, yeah. Which I don't mind. Again, I don't mind. Considering that Guinaifen can break people pretty easily. Attack percent body. As you might have expected. Again, a lot more break effect. Speed boots. Unfortunately, this one didn't roll into attack percent at all, but at least it rolled into some HP and effect res. And given that my Guinaifen doesn't even have 3,000 HP, yeah. Honestly, her boots rolling a little bit into HP percent is not bad at all. In fact, I'm kind of thankful for it. I'm also running her a 2-piece space sailing station. Probably the best ornament set for DOTers, or for dot DPSs. Not sure what else they would even use, to be honest. I'm sure there might be at least another thing that they could use. But yeah, for now, 2-piece space sailing station. Her rope attack percent, a little bit of EHR, yeah. And same thing with her planar, a little bit of attack percent, EHR. So yeah, that is my Guinaifen build. I was fortunate enough actually to get E6 Guinaifen, so she's quite stacked. She's quite stacked in ways more than one, I'm sure. But yeah, that's my Guinaifen build. Very happy with her. I've been running her with. I've added her to my my Sampo Kafka DOT team, and I actually used that DOT team, that dot team, for the entirety of the Infinity Planar event, and it was a ton of fun. So yeah, 10 out of 10 would do again. I love watching bosses just melt to like literally million damage DOT hits. So it's quite the serotonin. It's quite the rush whenever I see that. So that was a lot of fun. In any case, though, let's see. Anybody else I need to talk about? I'm slowly but surely leveling up the rest of my roster. As you can see here, Herta is now at level 80. I will also work on her relics once we get 1.5. Same reasons for as Himiko. I am also trying to level up Gepard because I do want to run him during MOCs, like MOC 10 specifically. So yeah, I feel like he'd help a lot for the swarm. The swarm boss that we're currently dealing with in MOC 10 right now. Not that I need him, it's just he'd make runs a lot smoother. So, considering I believe the main swarm bug is also weak to ice, and part is ice, so that's perfect. Sushang as well, she's at level 80. I've even prepared an S5 swordplay for her to use. And so yeah, no trace abilities just yet. Slowly but surely leveling up her relics whenever I have the resources to do so. But yeah, technically speaking, since I already have a decent enough relic set ready to go for her, yeah. It's just a matter of whenever I get around to leveling up her relics, her gear, and then her trace tree. And she'll be usable. I mean, look, her stats are actually, for what her stats are currently like, it's actually not bad already, so. Looking forward to how she plays out. Or looking forward to how her stats work out later on, once she's fully built. I'm also working on Qingche. I want to be able to use Qingche because, other than Fushun, of course, Qingche is really the only other AoE quantum character. And so yeah, I've been meaning to use her. Maybe replace Selly with a future Qingche build and see how she works. So yeah. Got that going for her. I also didn't know what other light cone to give her, so I just gave her seriousness to breakfast. There might be one that she'd prefer, but for now, this is what I've got on her. Maybe I could give her the spare copy of Galaxy Night in the Milky Way or whatever Himiko's light cone that is. So, but yeah, and everybody else, I've also been just kind of leveling up casually. So. But yeah, other than that, we should be good. I don't think I've changed anyone's relic sets. I know I did change Jing Yuan's stats a little bit. Namely through his was it his body piece. So I gave him a crit damage body piece instead of a crit damage crit rate one. Stats aren't too great, but his stats do look like this now, which actually I'm okay with because thankfully one of his bonus abilities, his third one I believe, gives him 10% free crit rate after he uses his skill for 2 turns, and he wants to basically use his skill all the time anyway, so might as well. And so yeah, technically he has 60% crit rate, which is totally acceptable by me. But yeah, I'll probably swap Jing Yuan's relic set over to the new follow-up attack when considering he's all about his follow-up attack. So yeah, that and lightning set is absolute dog shit. But you didn't need me to tell you that. So yeah, I'll miss using these pieces on him because I believe some of his pieces are really good. Like this one, his goggles are actually pretty damn good for all intents and purposes. Yeah, his ring is not so good, but it's still decent, double crit and all that. So yeah, looking forward to giving all of my follow-up attackers a new set eventually. In any case, I believe that's it for the Star Rail Whales vlog. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next month. Peace.